I figure this is the perfect time to really come up with this topic for this video. So here's the thing I'm going to ask you. Now, have you ever had something happen and then it turns out that there was no causes for that weird thing to happen? And the ideas of causes or something, like you swore somebody said your name, but no one did. It sucks to get this fucking feeling because, well, second of all, you don't even know if this house is haunted or you're fucking scared. Remember those times when you were, like, in high school or, like, as a kid, and then you were, like, left alone in the house, and then you're just sitting around here minding your own business, watching TV, and then the next thing you know, some random noise happens, and then you overreact to it, and you're thinking, okay, who's in this house? You know what, I ended up eventually thinking of worst case scenarios before I even decided to make this video in the first place. I mean, the weirdest thing, or pretty much the most craziest thing that could happen to you is that you're sitting around here grocery shopping at like your local Walmart or your local Whole Foods market, and then you're looking around here. I mean, okay, let's go ahead and check and see. Okay, pasta, alright, I guess I'll have spaghetti for dinner tonight. And then the next thing you know, someone possessed ambushes you from behind, screaming, "You're not supposed to be there!" And then fucking grabs you, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? But hey, back to the topic at hand. I guess we have to understand that we seem to overreact to noises a lot. And it can go to the point where we're home alone, and then the next thing you know, you hear noises, and you think it sounds like that somebody's in the house. You walk out, and then you check every single room in this house, and no one's in the house. And then the next thing you know, you hear something, and then you're like, haha, I'm not falling for it again. Nope, I'm not falling for it again. Oh yeah, let's talk about when you're hearing music. I mean, when you're listening to a song, there's like a high chance that somebody might do something in the background, and it ends up getting recorded somehow. And that really fucking sucks, because you're listening to the song, and then the next thing you know, you hear some random sounds of knocking on the door, and then the next thing you know, you think someone's actually knocking on the door in real life, but no one isn't. It's actually embedded into the track. I could see that pissing off the musician because it's included into the recording somehow, and it's beginning to, like, throw off the listener, and it's, like, fucking frustrating. They have to basically go ahead, oh great, I had that recorded perfectly, how the fuck did that sound got in there? I think it's become more likely to have that happen because, first off, more and more people are starting to get into the music industry, and pretty much second off, with the existence of SoundCloud and audio recording software for the individual, many people with lower budgets will do what they can to make a song, and unfortunately they're stuck with it until their songs get more and more popular, and when they get more and more popular, their songs in iTunes sell more and more and more, and finally it's about time to get a fucking studio, so that way nothing gets interrupted. Come on, let's be honest here, in the entertainment industry, having a low budget fucking sucks. It's a complete fucking bummer. Outside of listening to or producing music, I mean, we have no idea who's doing it. It could be Mama Nature, but I think it could be Karma. I mean, she takes no sides, and I mean, you're responding to your name being called a lot, and then it gets to a certain point where somebody says the same name as you, and then you turn around here and it's like, oh, I wasn't talking to you. Or worse, the person didn't even say a name at all. He didn't even say anything. But, however, hearing random noises is a really confusing process, because you come out and it turns out that nobody even made this noise, nothing you knew that could make this noise haven't made this noise, and now you're asking, where the hell did this noise even came from in the first place? It's like the ever-surrounding mystery, but at the same time, I mean, it could freak you out to the point where you could carry a weapon with you, and there's a possibility that you could misinterpret the situation, and it turns out that it's nothing. To be honest with you, I believe there should be like a scientific explanation rather than a supernatural explanation. Things can play tricks on you. Even your mind can play tricks on you. The questions that you have to ask yourself here is like, hey, is it your first time being alone for a temporary time? Or if you're playing a survival horror game or watching a horror film, you have to ask yourself, did you just came out of a really good one? Because when it comes to horror films and survival horror games, when they're really good, they could do that, because survival horror games and horror films, they've done a good job at what they really are, like horror films, horror games, and their purpose of being a horror flick or a horror game is that they're meant to scare the shit out of you. Now, there's a couple of horror games that I have procrastinated on. There's Outlast and Alien Isolation. And boy, oh boy, those two fucking games. Alright. Outlast fucking trolled me hard, especially at the fucking beginning. And Aliens Isolation just fucking trolled me with the super OP Xenomorph. If you're up to the challenge, hit up Alien Isolation. It's a good, fun ride. Oh yeah, remember Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem on Nintendo GameCube? Shit, that game was made to fuck with you. They created technology to pretty much provide you with, like, false messages and, like, to trick you into thinking, oh shit, the video cable's lost connection, and the next thing you know, you're back at the game. I mean, it was what the game intended to be. It's like the game fucking doing that shit. Worse, the technology that was made for Eternal Darkness had the fucking tendency to turn down your TV volume. Like I said, if you're up for the challenge, hunt down a Nintendo GameCube and hunt down your copy of Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. Other people make things that fuck with you. But, however, other than that, the environments basically kind of fuck with you, and that's part of a natural order. That's all. See you in the next vid.